And I wanted to ask you, like, do you have a favorite?
A favorite one on my
Yeah.
arms?
Oh, no, no, no. Just in general. Like, how, first of all, I guess, how many tattoos do you have?
I don't know.
Any guesses?
Around 200 maybe?
And do you have a favorite? Like, does one stick out in your, because when you go somewhere and you're like, yeah, this one right here. Everybody has this one thing that they go to. So I'm just wondering, like, if you have one.
I think this is my favorite tattoo.
Okay. So on your neck.
Yeah. It means God is supreme. It's funny because I took my kids to Wolf Creek Lodge, and the first night we were there, I told my girlfriend, I was like, got back to the room after the pool, and I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody was staring at me. She's like, how do you know? I was like, I just, because every time I turn around, people are like, talking. And so the next night, the next day, we go down to the pool, and we get out of the lazy river, and we're walking out, and this guy's like, hey, come here, come here, come here. And he's like, hey, we saw that tattoo. Do you know what it means? And I was like, yeah, I do. It means, there's nothing above God. And she's like, yeah, it means God's supreme. She's like, I can't believe you knew that. And it had that and knew what it was. And she's like, that one too. And I was like, yeah, that's the seal of God.
For every person that thought that, how many people do you think thought you were in like the triads or something?
Oh, probably quite a few. But dude, I'll go to Walmart and I'll get the most heavily tattooed. Like his face is completely covered. Like he's had a hard life, just like all of us. But he's really sticking to it. And hey, everybody will get there in their own time. But he came up to me. He's like, "I like your tattoos," and to have someone like completely like his face was just about completely inked out come up and be like, I like your tattoos. Yeah,
I see. So because he's more tattooed than you, it's like a huge compliment because
yeah,
he's already been through that journey.
yeah.
I see.
But I hung out at a tattoo shop for the last 2.5 years, and obviously, I became friends with all the tattoo artists, and a lot of them are heavily tattooed, and people come in all the time. And they're like, "Wow!" But like every time I get one,
At first, when you started doing this, I started thinking, I'm like, this is the guy that just figured out like how cool Matchbox cars were for the first time and
yeah,
just had to collect all of them. But then, of course, I mean, you've told me the stories on the couch like over time. But like, when does this end? When do you stop? And by the way, the whole conversation is not about tattoos. That's not
no, no, no.
that's not what we're here for. But it's the most interesting part. Like when people meet you for the
Yeah,
first
and
time,
I'm sure
right?
people have
It's
questions.
right, right.
I have my own HVAC company, and I went to a house, and it was an 80-year-old Christian couple, and I love them. And literally, what they said to the electrician was, "Wow, I think that he's got some issues." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what?" And these did help with trauma. Like the pain that these caused was nothing like the trauma that I've been through.
So
And
you're saying you're expressing,
yeah, at first, yeah, I was, like, and then, as I was getting them, crazy stuff would happen. Like, I would get a tattoo. I got a bunch of these tattoos: the pitchfork and the sword and the fish, the eye of Ra, the panther, and then I get this tattoo, which is secret seal of King Solomon,
okay.
and it lets him control 72 demons. Well, one of the demons gives every man the evil eye, and the only way to thwart the evil eye is to inscribe the much suffering eye, which is the evil eye that's surrounded by a sword, a pitchfork, a scorpion, a centipede, a panther, a raven, uh, and I got all these, and then I found out that that was the evil eye, the much suffering eye.
I feel like you're a giant puzzle.
It's freaking insane. Yeah, it's insane. And every time I get one, stuff like that happens, you know? So I kept getting them, and stuff kept happening.
What do you mean by that? Like what like?
So I got 4 stars on my thigh.
Okay.
Right up my thigh, and I have a bear right here. And I was reading the Egyptian Book of the Dead the other day. Just randomly put it on. It was like 53 minutes in, and it talked about the bear constellation wrapped around Osiris's thigh, and it named 4 gods for each star of the constellation. There was 4 stars on my thigh, but if you look up the bear constellation in the sky, it's like 15 stars. Well, where do the gods hang out in those stars? Because I got 4 stars on my thigh that's wrapped around my thigh. You know, like, I didn't get this stuff to link up with the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
You just happened to.
Yeah, I wanted a couple stars.
How do you get there though? Like how? And keep in mind, like you know, I'm a pretty like devout atheist. Like,
yeah.
Like so, I don't necessarily connect on a lot of these levels.
Yeah, I know. That's okay.
But that doesn't mean I'm right. And I still like to hear like where you're going with it, because obviously I have a different concept of the universe. I suppose I don't know how different it is. We've had this conversation before, like on the back porch. We've had similar. We'll probably get to some of those topics eventually, but how do you get here? And I guess the bigger question for somebody like me is like, why do you tattoo it on your body? Like what's the significance of that?
Well, it was funny because the first tattoo that I got was after our sister passed away. And my best friend Dan, which you know very well from childhood.
Yeah, I remember this.
We got this tattoo because he came down to her funeral.
I loved every bit of that when you showed it to me.
And it says, "Best friends don't drift." And we haven't.
Don't drift apart.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I can't see it.
It's okay, I got you.
But, and then I got home and I had the kids and they were young and we were at the mall and they wanted a piece of bubble gum as we're leaving. And I'm like, I don't have any quarters. And they started throwing a fit. They were like 2 and 3. So I looked over and there was a tattoo shop and I walked in and I was like, "Hey man, do you have change?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he gave me 4 quarters and I'm like, "Thank you, man." Like, huge freaking. I walked out. I'm like, "Oh, you know what? If I ever need a tattoo, I know where to go." So all of a sudden it was stuck in my head. Like, I want to get a tattoo. I know where to go. So I went there and I started talking to the guy. I was like, I don't really know what I want. And I ended up getting some scales on my arm. That was the first tattoo I got. And then I got this trident, and then I got this.
Wait, what kind of scales are those? Those are like, these
fish,
look like fish scales.
Yeah, so I'm a Pisces.
Okay.
And you know, that's just bringing out my little fishy side. So I like my scales, but you know, every tattoo has more than one meaning, and apparently that was an important one to get. So
you're getting into like mermaid territory, merman.
Merman.
My apologies.
Yeah, thank you.
My apologies.
You know,
merman territory, because you got the trident as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that was just it. I'm a Pisces. Like, I was gonna do a whole ocean scene. You know, that was the goal. You know, I had the Pisces fish,
Like a whole ocean sleeve.
Yeah, that's what I originally wanted to start doing, was the ocean sleeve.
Actually, that would look pretty dope.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. But like, slowly, it kind of changed over time. I think when I got this panther, and I had gotten a couple other ones up on the back of my arms, and by then it was kind of hard to do the ocean sleeve, so I switched it up a little bit.
Okay.
And then that was when I got this tattoo, and that tattoo opened a whole freaking door, can of worms that I indulged in for like 2 years straight. And I still do, because I still watch things. I go back and I rewatch things that I watched a few years ago. And
we didn't talk for 2 years.
Yeah, no.
You were basically held up in
I was a hermit. I went into hermit mode, and I really went inside and I looked deep at all the triggering traumas from childhood that I didn't really deal with, and I dealt with them, and I brought them to the surface, and I talked about them, and I realized I need to forgive myself and the people that harmed me or did me wrong, and let that stuff go, because carrying a grudge is heavy. When you can just let it go and just say I forgive you, we're all here. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. We're all
I need
here
to learn.
Yeah.
I need to learn this. I hold a grudge like nobody's business.
Yeah,
like
that stuff's heavy, man. I mean, imagine like putting that stuff down and be like, look, they just haven't seen the light yet.
But then what else would I carry? You know what I mean?
Happiness and love, and
I feel like I'm dragging that along behind me.
I know, but imagine if everybody just let that stuff go and like, yeah, things happen to us, and we're here to learn those things and realize that we're not victims, we're survivors, and we can tell our stories and not be judged. Like, you went through some shit and you made it,
Yeah,
and we all did, and that's our story. We all make it, and we shouldn't have to hide ourselves. The things that we went through. That's why we're here, is to go through these hard things and learn these difficult lessons.
What part of your life you think was the best for you?
My spiritual awakening.
So a recent part.
Yeah, as I got older, I was when I hit 33, I was like, man, this is the best time of my life. I'm 42. I had my spiritual awakening when I was 39, almost 40. Like, I had my spiritual awakening November 15th, 2022. And
do you feel like you were a late bloomer, or
no,
is that kind of...
I think it's normal.
Or is just everybody's kind of on their own journey?
Well,
right?
because spiritual awakenings are really triggered by trauma, like deep trauma. Like,
I don't know if I have deep trauma. Everything in my life is, I feel like, kind of surface level. Not like conversations or anything, but like I guess I always look at like the issues I've gone through, and I feel like, oh, somebody else has gone through like way worse than me, so like just move on.
Right.
So,
well, right. Yeah.
Right. Because like,
yeah, but you know what? We've grown up together, and we've been through some serious trauma, and look at us.
I always thought that was the way normal people grew up.
Right. Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times like I've done something in my life and somebody looked at me and be like, what are you doing? Like, oh, this is just what I do. And they're like, yeah, but that's not normal.
Right. Right. But we had to grow up that way. Like I did. Everything a product that happened in my childhood had to happen that way. Like, we had to have our father, leave and move out. I was 3, you were 8.
Yeah.
I had to have that missing father as a child growing up to experience not having a father around, Can
I tell you how that felt that one night? This is totally side, right? But like, so I go down to the basement, Dad calls me down, right? So we live on Main Street.
Oh, yeah.
Right. In Jew City. And the family lives on the first floor. The top floor is a separate apartment. It's rented out. And so Dad calls me down to his workbench downstairs in the basement. I will never forget. It's one of the, remember the EB Green, the duct tape from Electric Boat in Groton, right? Everybody had a roll of it. So the whole stool was just covered because it was destroyed, right?
Yeah.
He picks me up. I'm 8, pops me up on the stool, and he starts crying. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, I've never had this experience before. So my father's crying for the first time in front of me. Our father, not
Yeah.
my, right?
Yeah.
So, but like, I don't know what to do because I'm 8. And he just looks at me and says, Adam, I'm leaving. And I'm like, whoa, 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 what? You know, my dad is leaving. Now, this was 19, I got to do the math, 1986, right? And then he left. And like, what a weird experience. And so, I mean, I just described everybody's like family divorce, but
No.
like 1986, I thought my life was good. We had just moved into the house. We moved from another town. Family was solid. And it just turns out it was over and he had to go.
Yeah.
And so off to Rhode Island he went.
Which was meant to happen, just like he was meant to meet Lori, you know? He was meant to meet Lori.
Oh, I have no doubt. Well, you know, now we're getting into a little like fate kind of talk,
Yeah,
right?
it is. Fate is the conversation here. In a long roundabout way, fate, you know, is happening. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. I don't care if you think there's free will or not.
You saying that I can't make up my own decision?
I'm saying you can, but you got 10 paths to choose from. Any one of those 10 paths are going to lead to the same spot. So you think you have free will, but I'm telling you, if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen.
I know we're kind of bopping all over the place here,
I know.
but like, I am curious about, because your tattoos are based on the idea of fate. Our childhood is based on the idea of like it was supposed to be that way, right? Everything that we've done through your eyes here, you're saying is like it should have been done. Like we had no choice.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been listening to like all these like science and space videos. Not recently, I love this stuff. I'm just a huge fan of the universe and science and like finding aliens. We've talked about this so many times.
I believe in aliens.
I kind of subscribe to the idea of the multi like parallel universe kind of theory. Like everything that could happen happens in multiple. Like we don't have any proof for anything. I'm not like some cosmologist or anything, but like it's an interesting take because I do believe that the universe is infinite. Yep. Right? We will never see the other side. We have an idea of like how far and all that, but like the idea of that I can't control my decisions, like that I had no choice but to marry like the women that I married or had the kids that I had.
Yeah.
But
like all meant to happen.
But what if I was in some other parallel universe and I had different kids, I had a different job, I had different education, like that exists maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. And every I mean, how many universes do you think there are? Like 7? There's trillions, is infinite.
Yeah, they're countless.
Yeah,
right. Countless.
You know how I always looked at it is, look, we're probably one little molecule inside of an atom, inside of a giant's big toe right now, in this galaxy. You know, in this universe.
I can't prove otherwise.
Right. But you know, each cell is its own galaxy. You know, like.
So you're telling me in this whole like cycle, you don't have any choice on what tattoos to put on you?
Apparently not. No. I got this one, right? And even that one's important. And, you know, so in the Bible, it says the priests of the temple, they wear a sea cow hide, right? Okay. And, you know, a lot of pirates used to confuse sea cows with mermaids.
Oh, they are kind of bulbous, right?
Yeah.
Could you describe a sea cow as bulbous?
I think so. So I actually heard that.
I've never actually seen one. Have you?
A mermaid?
No, not a mermaid.
Sea cow.
I've seen the body of a mermaid.
I don't think so, actually. I feel like I have. I definitely have on TV, but not in real life.
I've seen them on TV, but I've never got a chance to pet one in real life.
Do you know if there's any like
Here?
zoos that have sea.
No, you'd have to
sea
go to like
cows.
Florida, right, to see
Yeah.
the manatees.
Yeah. So like I was even showing this to this girl like a year and a half ago, and I was like, see, it even talks about them wearing sea cow hide, and she's like, oh my god, and it says wrapped in blue, and all of the mermaids' tattoos are blue tattoos. You know, like even down to the blue on her tattoos is
If she was any more blue, I swear we're looking at Avatar.
yeah, right, right. And it's funny because I let my daughter pick this out, and she was 2.
You let your daughter.
I gave
pick
her
your
like,
tattoo?
I gave her like 5
Sir?
choices
Sir.
of mermaids, and I said pick one out. And she picked this one out immediately, and I get this tattooed on me, and I start to realize that my ex-wife has all these tattoos tattooed on her also.
Dude, if I let my kids pick what tattoo, my mermaid would have a dick. Like
Yeah, well-
literally, that would be the worst. I could never ask my kids to pick out a tattoo for me.
I do that quite often. I let tattoo artists pick out tattoos quite often.
You have an immense amount of trust, my friend.
So it was funny because I actually let him pick out this tattoo, and in the wiki link article about the much suffering eye, it says the scorpion sits on the phallus. Like it goes into like that much detail, and I let him pick this tattoo. It was like this spot. I gave him 3 different tattoo ideas, and he picked this one. And it says sometimes the inscriber picks its symbols at will. And I showed it to him, and he was like,
where do you
what?
get all these ideas? Like, are you reading books? Are you watching movies? Like, where are you? Who's teaching you this?
So, no, I just get the idea, and then I get the tattoo. I mean, sometimes, like I have a phoenix right here,
Yeah.
and I kept getting, this like drive, like you got to get this. And I watch a lot of tarot readings because through my spiritual awakening that I had, 3 years ago, I realized they were telling my story. And
when I was I think 14, Aunt Sherry gave me a pack of tarot cards, and then Mom found it, and it was the demon.
yeah,
Those cards had to get out of the house. I didn't remove them from the house though. I just put them away so she wouldn't see them. But like,
and that's what I thought too, growing up. I mean, we were raised in a very Christian house. I went to church 3 times a week from the time I was 6 years old till I was 12. 3 times a week, summer vacation Bible school.
that's a lot.
When I was 12, Mom was the leader of Vacation Bible School, and she did it on God's armor. And the whole thing was, at the end of it, you were going to become God's warrior. Andy means warrior.
No, I remember all of this. I've just packed it
Yeah,
away
right.
really
I know,
far,
I know.
like in a sack, and then buried it with concrete.
But through the years, even though I stopped going to church after I turned 13, and I moved, with Aunt Courtney and Uncle Todd, I still, talked to God every day, and I still lived a good life, and I did the right thing. And, I never stopped talking to God, and I'd always renew that pact with him that I made when I was 12. I'm still your warrior, and in the end times, I will stay here, and I will fight, in the apocalypse for you. Like I will never take that away. And come to find out, he's holding me to it. So,
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have a choice, because once you make a promise to God, he wants you to stick to it.
It's so interesting how we literally went through like we did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you were with me, I was with you. We went to
Yeah.
church. Like we ended up so different, so many different. Like, and I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's just the way we ended up.
Yeah.
And I respect your right and anybody else's right to believe in and accept whatever it is that you want. That's the whole point of life, right? To get the most out of it for an individual. Yeah. So like that's the last thing I want. So I'm not like a militant atheist or anything. I'm not like, what do you believe? My job's not to convince you not to believe. You need to put your soul wherever you need to put it to be right with yourself,
I mean, just because I say I'm Christian doesn't mean that's all I believe. I believe, the Bible has a lot of good stuff. I believe the Quran has good stuff. I believe the Tibetan, Book of the Dead has good stuff. I believe that you can get something out of every religion, and I believe they're all tied together and people don't even know it. So, and I think we'll definitely get there. Not today, but
maybe.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, it's just, I didn't even start getting, during my spiritual awakening, the first year and a half, I kept saying, like, I'm almost done with the Bible. It took me a year and a half to read the entire Bible. And I read it, in parts. Like, I would just flip it open and, like, the exact thing that's going on in my life, I'm reading about right now. Like, I had one night, I was freaking out because I think I'm crazy at this point. And I'm getting signs everywhere. Like, I look at a freaking, billboard, and it's like saying my ex-wife's name, and like it's giving me messages that it's going through, just like the tarot readers, even songs. Like the tarot readers and songs are like artists are all singing my life. A month before the first time my ex-wife came back to me that she wanted to try working it out.
Sure.
A song on the radio by Taylor Swift came out, and it was called Thank You, Amy. And literally it describes everything that Amy did to me, and it describes my life better than Kim Kardashian. Kim, I'm sure you knew that that song was about you, right? It actually wasn't. The Holy Spirit, that song was about a girl named Amy. Sorry. But
that's interesting.
It also fit Kim's bill. So good on you, Taylor.
I have never looked for coincidences. I've never looked for correlation.
I never used to either. It used to happen to me when I was younger, like in high school.
I guess I don't understand like how it helped me, I do. Right. I do recognize that because of ADHD, I live in the present really hard. And so I get that. But like the way I look at life and the way I look at things is like I do XYZ, and that should allow me to do whatever it is that I want to do next.
Yep.
And so I guess in my thought process here, if I'm spending time looking in history for cues and ideas and stuff, then I feel like I'm missing out on whatever's happening like right now or in the near future.
Yep. So you asked me this the other day too.
I asked you in a different way, but yeah.
You were like, so why does that help you? And I thought about it. I've been thinking about it for a long time because you've said it a few times, and
I just want to understand.
Well, it came to me the other day, and it wasn't me. It was my tarot readers, my spirit team, and they told me why. And it's because, right now, my spiritual awakening is over. I'm awake.
Okay.
All those things that happened for the last 3 years, every freaking day, was my spiritual awakening, proving to me that this stuff is real. Mm-hmm. That was my awakening. So like for the last 3 years, all I did was research the Bible, the Quran, every myth and legend and God, every poem, movie, play, Romeo and Juliet. They're all the same story. Every one of them has something in it that's pointed directly to me in my life, or what's going on in my life with my ex-wife and my family. Like every time I get a tattoo, like crazy stuff happens. So, Pegasus, he's the white winged horse. Yep. I have horseshoes. I found these in the woods. They're from between the 13th and 15th century I found in the woods in New Hampshire. And it was a battle that took place between the Indians and the settlers. And it was just sitting on a wall in a pile, a bunch of horseshoes and an axe head. And they were rusted so bad. But I picked them up and I brought them home and I did research on one of them. And I dated it between the 13th and 15th century. And like, it was very crazy because
But isn't that
in
like,
the 15th century, you wouldn't leave a pile of horseshoes and an axe. That's like leaving your phone and your wallet in the middle of the woods and just leaving. Like,
but doesn't that like predate white people here?
it does.
Okay.
One of them does. There was other. I couldn't date the axe because it's so hard to date a really rusted axe.
Sure.
But the horseshoe, the one that I dated, was very special. It had rivets that held this bar on right here and down here too, and it had 7 holes in it, which, come to find out, 7 means lucky. And
The lucky number 7.
yeah,
Of course.
so they only did 7 holes between the 13th and 15th century with these things on it that had to be smashed together with a little bar of iron, you know, to hold it together. So I always thought that was very special. So I was like, oh, lucky horseshoes. I'm going to get this one tattooed. Not thinking a Pegasus, because I also have like this tattoo here, and it's a bunch of feathers that I didn't even ask for. The tattoo artist came in the morning, had the stencil, threw it on me. I was laying on my back, and he just started going to it. I didn't ask for feathers. He just put them on.
So you have non-consensual feathers on you?
Yeah, I have a lot of non-consensual stuff.
That's not good.
I have a blue star right here. The Lakota believed in the blue star prophecy.
Wait,
I didn't ask for that.
I would be very upset if somebody tattooed something I didn't ask for.
Well, I just said I wanted to cast a healing spell from this fairy.
Oh, so you were giving like artists are like, hey, just do what you want. Like, if you're feeling it.
Yeah, I was like, this is what I want to do. I showed him a few pictures. And I was like, can you do it? And he's like, I got a great idea. And he did. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it was meant to be.
I just realized you actually don't have any trust issues.
No, well, I do, but not
in this regard, at least.
It only comes from one person, you know.
One person has crossed the line.
Trust.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got you.
I mean, there's other people.
Sure.
But, I mean, obviously there's one person that sticks out, which that has nothing to do with it. I'm not salty. Everything was meant to happen. I hope she's doing amazing, you know, and I really do. Just not with me. That can be somebody else's issue for now.
And I think that's healthy. I've always, you've heard me say this plenty of times from Tony Soprano, like, so you're telling me it only cost you $20 to get rid of him? That's it.
Yeah.
$20, and he left town. And
Right.
I always thought to myself, oh my God, like the implication, like the thought process of what it would take to get to that statement is quite like good.
It's pretty easy.
Right? Like if you think of life that way, I think it boils down a little bit easier to deal with, like for sure.
You know, growing up, I've always tested people. I mean, I hate to say it, but you got to find out who your friends are before you start trusting everybody. So I've always given people the chance.
Okay.
To screw me over.
Oh, I thought you meant like you were testing them, like putting them in situations where you're waiting for them to fail and be like, you failed.
I'd be like, hey, can you hold this $200 for me? You know, or whatever.
Okay.
And I'd come back next day and see if they had the $200, you know, or.
So in a way, this is like the bro code.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you gotta. And I mean, a lot of people fail, and those people aren't meant to be in your life. And it was the cheapest way to find out if, you know, because if they're going to screw you on $30.
Oh, I actually agree. I got into a fight with, well, he really wasn't a friend, I guess. I think back then I assumed he was my best friend, but like looking back, definitely not. And he took 50 cents from me in front of Frenchie's. Yeah. And I was like, wait, you just stole money from me, because it wasn't the amount. Like I could care less whether it was 50 cents or $1 billion. Well, maybe if it was $1 billion, it would be different, right?
Right.
But 50 cents, it was the questionable, like, you're not a friend. You're stealing from me and you're gloating about it.
Right.
So we got into a fist fight, and I never forgot because Frenchie himself came out of the restaurant. It was a big lumbering like man. He was like, "Get the hell out of here! Don't let me see you guys again." And I
Oh,
never
boy.
forget that. Like I got into an actual fist fight over 50 cents. It was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And the funny
But
thing is,
it was the best 50 cents you ever spent.
yeah. And the next day, the guy that I got into a fight with went to school and told everybody he kicked my ass. He did not, just for the record.
Okay.
He
Well,
did not. In case anybody remembers, back in 1990,
somebody will find out.
They're like, "Hey, didn't you get your ass kicked by it?" No, I didn't. I did not.
Oh, yeah. That guy, Johnny, he said he did kick your ass.
Take it back, you bastard.
No, so, you know,
Yeah.
they're saying fate is an amazing thing. And
Yeah, he was destined to
Yeah.
get into that fight with me.
he was. You know, people are put in your life so you can learn a lesson. Once you learn the lesson, they usually leave your life. And if they're meant to go back into your life, it's possible, but they have their own lessons to learn, and that's why they also were taken out of your life. You guys were meant to learn something from each other, and then you move on with your life.
That's been probably one of the hardest things
It's
for me to learn is that
it's hard for everyone.
not everybody is supposed to stay in your life.
It's such a hard lesson.
Like 20 years ago, and this was probably a result of me moving around after being in the Air Force. When you have to say goodbye to every like year or two to people that, you know, you've become friends with and you've
Right.
spent time with, it becomes hard to deal with those goodbyes. So I started looking at life as a percentage of time given. Instead of you screwed me out of XYZ,
Yeah.
it's more of if you leave today, like you in particular, right, for whatever reason, I got 42 years of your life.
Right.
Like I should be very thankful that I had this much time. Like I've said this once to you before, but I didn't mean it in like a gloating way. But I always felt bad. Like Dad passed away in 12, and it took me years. I mean, I'm still kind of decompressing from it. He was my best friend. Like
Yeah, mine too.
it was one of the hardest losses I've ever had to deal with by far. And I was on the other side of the world. You had to deal with it in person. And one night I reflected how lucky I was because I was the oldest kid. Like I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
And I got an extra 5 years with this man than you know other people did. I got 20 more years than other people with him. You know what I mean? Like I am so thankful for that time spent. And so I'm still learning how to deal with the loss, but I just try to look at the positivity. I'm an individual, I guess you could say an optimist. I always try to look for the silver lining in some of the worst like tragedies that
There's always
you know,
something good that comes out of something bad.
like I'm always looking for like that positive energy. Like I don't want to walk around because, you know, somebody left or something bad happened, and I don't want to feel that. So I always, you know, I mask everything with jokes. Like I like humor, and humor kind of sails me through life a little bit. An interesting path to walk, and how we deal with like our own emotions. I don't know. I think maybe that's why I watch a lot of like space shows and stuff at night, because I'm always looking for like an opportunity to leave reality for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. To get out of the heaviness of life
What else?
itself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody needs to escape, you know. I read like every one of Zachariah Sitchin's books, and he believes in ancient aliens, you know, that came here from a planet called Nibiru that's in our solar system. A lot of people say that the 3I Atlas comet, do you know about that?
No, I don't know about this comment.
So apparently it just crossed to the other side of the sun, and it has a lot of people freaking out because it like slowed down. It like went off path, like had its own power source and came out of the sun's gravity field, and you know, just kept cruising. Got faster. Like it's not a comet, maybe.
Not a comet.
And some people say that it's like a precursor to Nibiru coming back into the solar system because
Is that the once was dubbed as the 10th planet?
yeah, the one right, the 12th planet, I think. Or no. Anyway, yeah, the 10th planet.
Well, I can't do the math.
Yes,
Pluto
it has a
is
really elliptical.
Yes.
You know, it takes 3,600 years to go around the sun every once.
Well, we still don't have any validation
Right.
to that, but they do suspect that there is something out there pulling a little bit of the gravity.
Which I don't know about that. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I am an HVAC certified person with, you know, a gas license and a refrigeration license and a spiritual college degree that I got for the last 3 years that I took off and got very spiritual and in tune with mind, body, and soul. I tried yoga a few times. I got my breath work down. You know, I felt like Dirt Nasty.
Simon Rex, Dirt
Yeah,
Nasty?
that guy.
My favorite song, just for the record, 1980.
Yeah.
I'll play that all day long.
So literally, that literally happened in my life at the beginning of this past summer. And, you know, I had quit everything. I was clean. I was doing good. I started my business back up a few months prior. And I started yoga because I ended up friend requesting a girl that I went to school with. And come to find out, she was a yoga teacher in the next town over. I was like, you know, I always felt kind of weird. Like, all right, why is this guy coming to yoga? You know, but
Yeah,
I've been
'cause you're
wanting to
looking at
try
those
it.
Pants.
I've been wanting to try it, you know, being spiritual. Everybody talks about yoga and, you know, I've been having a hard time meditating. So I figured, why not? And then I got like a couple signs, like, and then the next day I saw something she had posted and it was exactly what I was just researching the night before. And I was like, all right, I guess I got to sign up for her yoga class, you know, and I did. And it was actually really nice. I, you know, apparently needed it. So I was at the store getting a sub the other day, well, after yoga, and I was thinking about it and I was like, wow, I feel like Dirt Nasty. You know, quit smoking weed, started doing yoga, you know,
Yeah.
getting mind, body, and spirit right.
Yeah.
You know?
You just clean yourself up.
Yeah. And I literally, that's exactly what was going on in my life at that moment. And I was like, no way. And I had to put 1980 on. And I was like, yes.
I got lost. I got lost in Dirt
And also, I
Nasty.
gotta say, the girl in that video,
Yeah. I got lost in a little phase with Dirt Nasty, Andre Legacy, and Mickey Avalon for a little while. Back in 2009, 2010-ish, I think I was in that era, and it was hitting hard. I was in Korea, and it was hitting the clubs and the music. I love playing pool. Like, it's one of my favorite things. So, in order to play pool there, you have to go to the club. In order to drink, if you order a beer, you can play as much pool as you want, as long as you're beating everybody, because your name goes up on the board and it goes around,
Right.
and you just play until you lose. So I would be playing 6 to 8 hours a night, every single night. And
I'm
so
not surprised.
I'd
We
be
grew
going
up
through.
with a pool table in every room of the house.
Yeah. I learned how to play pool when I was 8.
Yeah.
Like, after Dad left, we got a pool table.
Yeah. And
I,
another
maybe
pool
maybe I
table.
was 9. I don't know, but like, I remember, like, on my tippy toes trying to make the shot and everything.
We were always playing pool.
Yeah, I used to play. I play very well.
Yeah.
Like, I played in all the leagues. I've always been.
Thanks to that, I was good at geometry, and I was able to pass math class in high school.
You definitely have to have your geometry game on if you're
Yeah.
gonna play pool.
And apparently now with HVAC and doing like ductwork and stuff, your angles have
Yeah.
count too. So
But Dirt Nasty was a big part of my life at that point, and I appreciate him getting me through plenty of pool games and plenty of beers.
you know, it's funny because you introduced me to Dirt Nasty, Simon Rex.
I like hearing this.
I don't know, a long time ago when I visited you.
Yeah. Albuquerque, right?
Albuquerque, yeah.
Yeah, it was right after I got back, so that was my assignment right after.
Yeah.
I was in South Korea.
And I really like that song. And whatever that girl's name is,
I don't remember,
That's
sadly.
right.
But if I could look it up after.
One day I'll find out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So we'll sort through it.
She's my Wonder Years.
Okay, so I never really watched TV. And this is
we did. We
Well-
watched Wonder Years together. We watched it. Who's that
Really?
girl's name?
I don't remember.
We're gonna get laughed at.
No, I only know Fred Savage. I don't remember watching the Wonder Years.
Wendy?
Oh, maybe.
Hold on.
I mean, this is the problem with being almost 48, right? Because you got to try to remember 40
Who's
years
the girl
ago.
from Wonder Years?
Winnie. Oh my God. All right, +1 for AI. I'm against AI, but +1 for that, I guess.
I mean, this brings us. We've become Doctor Who Cybermen.
You know, I used to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning before school to watch Mr. Wizard.
Yeah.
And I found out later in life that he was a complete asshole. I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, of course he was.
But I do read Reddit a little bit, and somebody there told me that, so that's the story.
I can just see him like
I
off
hope-
camera, be like, "Cut."
I mean, I'm being a little facetious here, right? But like he taught me so much science. Like he got me excited about science. Just doing a little experience. So I really hope that he wasn't like a bad guy outside the camera. I don't know if that's true or not. You know, you hear some things about people like 20, 30
Don't
years
wanna be
later.
Cosby.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Right. That's a good example of a career gone completely wrong.
Yes.
The
exact thing that we are trying to cure these days.
We have a lot of issues out there these days.
Yeah, but you know what? If you think about it, so.
But I always
You know-
feel like there's a lot of issues. It's just we're here right now, and
Well-
these issues existed
Right.
throughout human.
All right.
All right.
But this is going to be our savior.
The phone,
The scroll.
the doom scroll is my
Yes.
savior.
Yes. Because, you know, I've told you that I had a spiritual awakening.
Okay.
I'm not the only one. 144,000 other people are going through a spiritual awakening at the same time. Just like your friend that we were talking to earlier.
That's a very specific number.
Catman? It is a very specific
That was
number.
cat bug.
Cat bug?
Yeah, cat bug.
Cat bug. It was very nice meeting you. So he actually told me that he had the same exact experience that I had 3 years ago at the same exact time. And he did the same exact things that I was talking about and I've been going through for the last 3 years.
When you say spiritual awakening, though, like you just mean that you've gotten spiritual, or like what's the awakening part?
That spirits are real and God is real and God is spirit.
So specifically letting it all in.
Yeah, like, I mean, my spiritual awakening was me crying out to God because I thought I was going to die of a broken heart when I found out my wife was leaving me and left me. And I literally thought I was going to die. I couldn't even, my legs wouldn't work. And I was crying and I yelled out to God to help me. And the next day I put on a tarot reading because I was sitting there and I was like, well, what would Amy tell me to do? And I heard in my head, watch tarot. And I put on a tarot reading and it was my exact story, like to the T, how I felt in my head, like that my situation, what Amy was doing, like what she was thinking. And a lot of times Amy was confirming the things that they were telling me. And I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no way I would know that. And like, how, I would have never thought in a million years she would have done that unless they said something and I asked her and she.
But if you're always looking for coincidences, if you're always like on the hunt for the next connection, is it really happening, or are you forcing it to happen?
You know, and I, you know, I'm not stupid by far, and
No,
I get.
I'm not challenging you
I
here.
know, and I get by just saying like, oh, I got this tattoo, and then come to find out, priests wear, you know, in every one of my tattoos, I can make up every one of my tattoos, but after I got this tattoo, which is one of King Solomon's seals,
Yeah.
it lets the beholder do the impossible. The day after I got this tattoo done, I was making a video about a poem from Sumerian time. It was 6,000-year-old first poem female writer ever recorded that we have, 6,000 years old. Anyway, and as the video's going, I pick up my Bible and the pages fall out of the back of the Bible, and I pick them up, and they're the maps. And I pick them up, and I see one that says Jerusalem in Jesus' time. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I look at it, and I'm an outdoors guy. Like, I know what terrain looks like. I can read every kind of map. Like, I'm that guy. I'm an outdoor cat,
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm looking at these things and I'm like, this map looks like exactly where I live, like to the T. If I was to pull up a map of Jerusalem in Jesus' time, it shows the temple. And then right next to it, it says the Robinson's Arch. My next door neighbor's last name is Robinson. On her license plate, it says Ma Robinson. And it's literally right next to the temple. And it has like 3 black dots in the temple, which line up to the addition that I just built like 5 years ago. And literally one black dot is my fireplace / altar, which I didn't consider an altar until after my awakening. It was always a mantle with fireplace,
Right.
My bed and my dresser, like to the freaking T. And for like 3 weeks prior to this, tarot readers were like, you should change your room around. You should change your room around. And I finally did.
Get your feng shui like in line.
Yeah, and that's what they said, the feng shui. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so I changed it up. There's only one other way to change it because of the room.
Right.
So I did it that way. And then like days later, I found the pages fell out and literally lines up with how I had just set my room up 3 days prior, and then I read in the Bible about like the furnishings of the temple, and I have all those things in my freaking house, in my addition, like to the T. How it's set up in the Bible is how my house is set up. Everything, it's freaking insane. I thought it was crazy. Sometimes I still wonder.
Don't rule that out.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean,
but,
all of us could be a little crazy, right?
I mean, at some point, you got to realize, like, all right, this stuff is really, it keeps happening. Like, like I'm still a normal person. I just, apparently, I can still do gas piping and not blow somebody's house up. I still know how to set somebody's pressure. I still know how to check for a bad part,
I just get nervous when somebody says I'm normal because it makes me think, are you?
But I mean, so if I'm Jesus and even if I'm crazy or not, and if I think I'm Jesus,
Sure.
I shouldn't be trying to kill anybody, right? I should be healing everybody.
Boom. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
so
killing people is like really bad.
Right. So to have somebody that thinks he's
Like the
Jesus being crazy, yeah, he thinks he's Jesus. He's, he might want to help you. Watch out.
It's interesting when I hear you talk about like the awakening because like I didn't have a spiritual awakening. In fact, I had quite the opposite, I think. And I won't go into that part necessarily, but like I did have an awakening as a human being.
Right.
Right. But I think we just call that maturity. So like at 33, I know they say like your last brain phase is like 25 and then most people become like normal people at 25. When I was 33, I had that experience. Like I just woke up one day and I was like, what am I doing? And why am I doing XYZ? Like, and then like my entire life fell into place at 33. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I'm into. These are the things I believe in. And I just kind of hung on to
like I said, my first time I was like, this is the best time of my life, 33, But I mean, look, I think about this all the time because you being an atheist and me having a spiritual awakening, and I leave sometimes and I wonder like, well, he doesn't believe in God, which is fine. You know, not everybody gets there at the same time, and I'm not forcing anybody to believe in something they don't want to believe in or see how it could be. You know, obviously faith is what everybody needs.
Sure.
But, you know, so anyway, knowing that you're an atheist, I think in my head, well, he's still a good guy. He's still, you know, is there for his family.
Thank you.
You know, I know him. Is that the same as knowing God and doing these things? And I think, you know what? He probably does know God, just doesn't know it's God or who he talks to is God. But he's still there. He's still a good person if he believes he's talking to God or himself in his head. Like, everybody has the Holy Spirit in them if they think it, if not.
I have a lot of thoughts in my head, and I know that some of these thoughts maybe skirt the line of being agnostic, but I also think of them as just fun ideas and not necessarily something that I believe in. Like, I don't necessarily believe that whatever you believe in, like while you're alive right now, is definitive in any way, right? Because honestly, none of us know like what's after, right? I could be completely wrong. You could be completely wrong. Like who knows? Like, I like the idea. I don't know if I've ever said this to you. I think maybe once when we were having a good time on the back porch. Like, sometimes I think the universe is infinite and so large, because when we die, maybe there's maybe like a little sliver of hope that we are reborn on another planet so far away. Like, the reason why we have an observable universe,
that's exactly what happens.
So you can never see where you've been before, right?
That's exactly what happens.
And I like the idea. Like, it's a playful idea.
We learn different things on different planets, and each planet's like a different school. The Earth school is one of the most difficult ones.
And that's an interesting perspective as far as that goes.
We all came here for a reason, for a lesson that we need to learn. Hopefully we all make it. And I think we will. I think we're all going to make it.
I just feel like a lot of times, and I guess this is kind of what like brings me to that trail to go down. But like, what is the purpose? And I know everybody's looking for like the meaning of life. That's not necessarily what I'm getting at. But the idea, like, I'm not sure if a soul is real or not, but my personality is unique to me. Your personality is unique to you, right?
And that personality, the last time you lived a life, you had that same personality.
I'd like to think and go even a step further that everybody around me is tied to me.
Yeah,
like we
absolutely.
do this as a group together,
right,
over
absolutely.
and over again.
Right.
Like, but that's a playful idea in my head.
Like, Dad could be reincarnated as my, Andrew.
So I'm torn. I'm torn somewhere between I die and I go back to the earth and my atoms
I don't believe that
sucked into the sun in 5 billion years and it explodes and off I go again, in a different form. Not necessarily
body,
the physical, the
spirit,
atoms, right?
Your spirit. Have you ever seen the Truman Show?
Yes.
So the Truman Show, it's like a dome and everybody's in the dome is playing a role because there's one guy, aka Jesus, that this whole thing is, everybody's got their cameras pointed on Jesus, we're going to call him. Sorry, Jim. But
he did play that what, truth or liar?
Yeah, he played a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he did play a lot. Well, I guess that was Morgan Freeman that technically played God.
Even Jim Carrey has had a spiritual awakening.
Jim Carrey's a weird guy.
Yeah, but he's a good guy. Remember when freaking Will Smith smacked that other dude?
Yeah. Chris Rock.
He was upset and he said something,
Was he?
Yeah, he was like, it makes everybody look like trash, pretty much.
I feel like Jim Carrey wouldn't have to say that for that. I mean, anybody could say that.
He was deeply saddened.
Like, I feel like
that, a celebrity thinks it's okay.
Yeah, hitting another human being, like,
right.
Like, and if it's not self-defense, like,
right.
You just walking up and hitting somebody,
I get wanting to hit
terrible.
Him so bad.
I don't even know if it was. I mean, I guess maybe like you know, how dare you talk about my wife, the honor. I mean, I don't want to like relitigate like the Chris Rock slap.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
That's-
Chris Rock won because he used that in his special, and there was no retort to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
he made it out.
He made out, but you should
Slap
never
her around the world.
like harming another individual.
Yeah,
should never.
It's so childish. It is childish.
Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, I even think about that. Like when people like just have road rage.
Hey, speaking of Will Smith, even the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When I moved to New Hampshire with my auntie and uncle.
Yeah, I know you kind of had your own little.
Palace.
Yeah.
From Slumdog Millionaire freaking row.
Yeah. So for those that don't know the inside here, I left home at 17. You left home at 13. Mom dropped you off with our uncle and aunt to like get you through high school and then you stayed in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So we grew up in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I left. You came here to New Hampshire.
I grew up in the Shire. Yes, I did.
And then 20 plus, excuse me, 20 plus years later, I retired, and I didn't know where I was going. I hadn't really considered where I would end up. So I retired in South Korea. I moved to the Philippines with my wife, my family, your nephew, niece, and all that. And I just needed a little time to like decompress and figure out what was next. And I'm grateful that I chose New Hampshire. The first few years here.
Oh my God. It
was
the biggest
hard.
blessing I could have asked for.
Yeah. And then we moved here during COVID.
Yeah. You guys stayed with me.
Yeah, we lived with you the first 2 months while we were trying to get our house.
Yeah, it was awesome having my family there. It was just so new from going, people didn't even know I had a brother. And then everybody's like, hold on, your brother and his family are staying with you? I'm like, yeah, they just moved from the other side of the world so they could be next to me. And you lived 10 minutes away. Like I would have never thought in a million years that you guys would have moved here to New Hampshire in a million years.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was meant to happen.
Maybe it was. My first three choices was Washington.
Not New Hampshire.
Washington, Colorado, and New Mexico.
Yeah.
I found out I kind of like the West Coast a little bit.
Yeah.
I dig the vibes out there. I was introduced to Albuquerque. I was able to go visit Denver and Colorado Springs. I liked those areas. I never once considered coming back to New England at all. But let me just say, like, coming here during COVID, because we came here in 2018, and then like right after like COVID hit, nobody could leave, nobody could do anything. I was afraid of dying on a ventilator. Everybody was, and not everybody. Like half the crowd was I'm ready to go. Just put me on a ventilator, whatever, But the other half of me is like, I got 5 kids and a wife. Like I can't just like check out. Like that's messed up, So anyway, however you feel about COVID, whatever. That's just how I was, and it is what it is. But
yeah, I was worried for my kids because we had Amelia during COVID.
Yeah,
it felt like prison compared to Andrew. Like
that was awful.
We called Andrew's birth Hotel Wentworth, like going to the hotel to have.
Yeah,
Andrew.
we couldn't come see you.
No, not with Amelia.
No,
we were literally there a day and a half, and she had a C-section.
Right,
and it felt like we were in jail the entire time. It was like prison Wentworth. It went from Hotel Wentworth to prison Wentworth. Like that's how bad it was.
Yeah, it was insane during that time. But during that time, we got here, and then everybody was like locked down. This was a new state for us.
Yeah.
This was the first time that I ever had family around,
right?
You know, in a very long time.
Me too.
I don't know how to. I still don't know how. Like it's really nice seeing you all the time.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Knowing that you're 10 minutes away is incredible instead of like a 12-hour drive away.
Which means we can do this all the time.
Absolutely. I would love to have you doing this with me. As much as you want.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the goal is here. Like, other than I really like talking.
There's no goal.
I think it's better to not have a goal, right?
Well, it's better.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen regardless if we have a goal or not.
I see.
So if God wants something done, he's going to make it happen. And we don't really have a choice in that, even though you think we do. We do. We have 10 paths. Choose one. They're all going to get it done if you like it or not.
I mean, that's...
It's how much karma do you want to deal with on the way?
Sometimes I want to think karma's real.
Karma
you know,
is real.
when somebody's being a dick to you and then like they bump into a pole as they turn around after being a dick to you, like and I think to myself, I'm like, karma.
I got in a fight with this kid way back in the day, and he punched me and he gave me a black eye. And
point him out, I'll beat him up.
Well, he was this like 6'2" Golden Gloves boxer.
I'm ready.
So anyway, he runs away because he was stealing money out of some girl's purse. So me and my buddy, we stepped up and we got the money back. I got a little shiner. Well, my cousin calls me, Ben, the next day, and he's like, dude, that kid got his karma. He got home and he was being super loud, and his roommate beat him up with a baseball bat.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I'm like, yeah,
I don't know if that's karma. That's just
my
heavy assault, man.
That's my spirit team saying,
what the heck?
Don't lay your finger on a chosen one.
Dude, you just went from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
That was insane.
I don't know if you guys can see this. Probably see some orbs floating around on these screens somewhere, but I bring a freaking army of angels with me everywhere I go.
Right now?
Right now.
Right here.
They're in the freaking yard. There's some sitting in my car.
I like that.
You got 2 looking over your shoulders saying, what's up?
I'll see them soon enough. I'm not rushing it though. Like,
no,
like I've said this multiple times, but like, I hope I'm wrong. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, but like, well, if you don't believe now, you don't get to benefit. But you know what? I don't have time to think about that stuff right now.
You know what I think about that?
What's that?
You don't have time. God will leave the 99 for the one that doesn't believe.
Yeah.
The one that's not there. The one that walks. Confirmation. What was that noise?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Fair enough.
That was confirmation. He will leave the 99 for the one.
Listen, I'll take my punishment if I'm wrong. I've already been through plenty here. Like, I'll take whatever's coming to me, I suppose. You know what? Even that would be better than rotting in the ground, waiting for the sun to eat me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, to look forward to anything after death would be a welcome. Whether I'm chained up in hell or if I'm skipping along a beautiful bridge in heaven somewhere. You know what I mean?
Hell is a state of mind.
I think so.
So, look, like my ex-wife, it's a big common thing. Like, when you get married and your wife ends up cheating on you and goes and thinks she can find better, now she's putting herself in a pool with other friends. Now competition.
Sorry, technical issues.
Yeah.
I should be able to edit all this out, but just in case, sorry, one camera just shut off right.
And anyway. I'd also like to give a shout out to my nephew Addy, that's doing a freaking amazing job being the man over here.
Yeah, that's true. We have Addy is controlling everything right now. He's on it. So
it's above my pay grade.
It's certainly above mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
Oh. So anyway, I do think that there's more out there in the universe. I think that there's more for us to contend with, or at least I'd like to. You know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. We will never know.
I mean, I've always believed in reincarnation, and even after my spiritual awakening, I believe in it so much more. Look, if I'm Jesus, when we were growing up, I got a nickname because Dan hit me with a baseball bat, and all the older kids held him down, and they were like, do whatever you want to him. And I grabbed a soda and I poured it over his head, and they gave me the nickname Buddha. Buddha, some people say, is one of Jesus's reincarnations, right? How about, let's see, another reincarnation of Jesus. The Dalai Lama.
Okay. You know, we're about to get a new Dalai Lama, right? I believe.
Really? I don't know.
I thought I thought I read something the other day about that. I'll have to confirm that.
Do you know
for
what
the
else is
future.
going on, right?
What's that?
Fulfilling of like every prophecy in the Bible is going on right now.
Well, I feel like that's always happening, right? Same with
Not
Notre
really,
Dame,
no.
right? Everything's always being worked on right now.
Well, Notre Dame is all about Jesus too. His first open, there's a 5-hour video on Notre Dame and all of his quatrains on YouTube. In the first 40 minutes, he's talking to Jesus Christ. It's almost, if you read it like they are meant to, as it's meant for a king, whatever king he's writing to, that's who it's, but it's, if you listen to it and you know he's talking about Jesus, you're like, obviously he's freaking talking about Jesus, and then there's so much in there. So remember how I was talking about earlier about Sinclair and their family crest is the belt with the rooster, the cock,
Yeah.
in the middle. And also in the belt, it says, commit thy work to God. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like that is our freaking heritage.
That's wild.
So anyway, Notre Dame talks about the cock and the lion,
Yeah.
which Amy and Taro is a Leo represented by the lion. And I'm a fish, I'm a Pisces. And so if we are the line of Sinclair, Beauclair, Clairwood, which Beauclair is a line of bucklers, and the freaking Sinclair coat of arms is a buckle wrapped around a cock, and the Notre Dame is talking about the cock and the lion.
Yeah.
If you put that stuff in, it makes all the sense in the world to my life, and it has. I've watched the video twice. I always keep watching videos over because things keep happening.
It's kind of interesting because I mean, you do believe, like, you genuinely believe this. This isn't some one-off, like, oh, I just learned this, let me share it with you.
Right.
But how do you feel about the people that don't, like, they say they're Christians, that they say that they walk in those steps, but they do something completely different? Like, do you run into a lot of people like that?
Yeah, I do. I think it's hard for everybody to walk that.
Do you feel like
path.
I feel like there's a certain subset of human beings that are co-opting religion for their own personal gain in this world?
A lot of those people, have real traumas. Everybody has traumas, and I think a lot of those people think their trauma is so bad that, they can't be forgiven, or there's no way that I can be forgiven for this. So I'm not going to turn around and do what's right. Like, I'm going to keep going my path. I'm going to keep, hiding the truth, wearing my mask. I'm not going to be me. I'm going to pretend to be somebody else because I'm afraid,
You don't even like consider those people. You're just kind of like walking your own.
I pray for them,
Sure.
And I know that they'll get there. I know everybody will get there on their own time. And if it's not their time, it's okay.
So this is our first snow. Like, we've had flurries.
Yeah, but not snow.
Yeah, this is incredible. We're getting 6 to 9 inches tonight.
Yeah, I know.
I bought a snowblower this year just so my back wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Like, with the electric shovel and everything. I'm going to use it today for the first time.
I have to shovel my entire driveway because Mrs. Robinson next door, she's old. No offense, Mrs. Robinson. Her name is Marianne.
She's doing great.
Yeah, I love her. Her and my Boston Terrier are best friends, and they're both old ladies.
They're just snuggling together.
Yeah, they hang out. They just.
When we first got here, you had Molly just for a couple of years, right?
Yeah,
a little Boston Terrier.
She's 9 now.
It's hard to believe that she's 9.
Yeah.
And even Dorian, we've had him for almost 6 years, my cat, right? Like, during COVID, again, the girls asked me, they were like, Dad, this is like really sad. Like, can we get a cat? For the first time ever, I said yes.
Yeah, you were never an animal person.
Well, I never wanted animals because I was always moving. I didn't want anything
Right.
to happen. I
Right.
didn't want to be separated from my my family member.
They were all good excuses.
Yeah, they were fantastic. But
Yeah.
now we were locked in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
We were not leaving.
Yeah.
Even though in my head I'm thinking, oh, like 4 or 5 years, I'll get orders. We'll go somewhere else. It's fine. And then that 4 or 5 years came and went, and we didn't move.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was the first.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, I do want to say, like, I actually really enjoy living in New Hampshire. Like,
Me too.
I just wish that we had a little bit more freedom here. And I'll just say this little part because I seen this morning. Our governor, Kelly Ayotte, she posted on Facebook this morning that New Hampshire ranks #1 in personal freedoms. Yet, right, and this is just one indicator, I understand, cannabis is still illegal here.
Yeah, every other state around us is not.
We are an island and country because Canada's north of us. Until that's legalized, I don't ever want to hear that New Hampshire is the #1 freedom
Absolutely.
spot.
That's the
right?
most ridiculous law to still have an act right now.
And I don't even care if you don't partake, right?
Right.
We can go to the highway, I-95, go through the drive-through of the New Hampshire liquor store.
Yep.
And we could cruise on out with like a handle of whiskey, whatever your flavor.
Right.
But as soon as you start talking about like cannabis in any way, think about the children.
Right.
Think about the kids, man. What are you going to kill them all?
It's so ridiculous. I mean, if anything, alcohol is definitely,
Yeah, I stopped in 2013. Like, I mean, have a beer if you want, have a glass of wine. I don't care.
I mean, they literally let in demons, spirits, evil spirits. That's why they call
them
liquor
spirits.
spirits.
That's an interesting take. I like that.
Because you're literally giving permission.
But I do want to just finish the thought, just that I actually like living here. This place is incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
We just went through fall, so I got to see the foliage. And this year's been a little bit weird because we had the drought.
Yeah.
Right, wells were drying up. Like, there's a lot going on here in New Hampshire. But if you just take and exclude, some of like what's happening right now, we live in a gorgeous state.
Yep.
Like, I get to go to Vermont once in a while when I go to the VA, and
Beautiful
so
out
I get
there.
to drive across Concord.
Yeah.
I get to go up, all the way over to White Junction,
Yep.
White River Junction, and what a breathtaking route that is.
There's so many different beautiful things to see in New Hampshire. I mean, they wrote The Hobbit around it. The Hobbit was from the Shire.
But didn't they film that in New Zealand or something? Or is
Yeah,
that
but-
Transformers? I'm thinking probably both, right?
Yeah, they're both,
I never watched it, so I'm not sure.
New Hampshire's just as beautiful.
New Hampshire's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I've been all over the place.
Yeah.
I've lived in North Carolina, in Georgia, in New Mexico.
Yeah.
I've traveled almost to every single state. And no matter what you think, like New England as a whole, right? This isn't like a New England or a New Hampshire specific thing. But like, this is a gorgeous place of the United States. So many people don't understand the beauty. And you know what I like about being here? There's not a whole lot of like earthquakes, typhoons, like
Right.
tsunamis.
Yeah,
Like, the worst we get is either a drought or a blizzard.
right.
And
we get
I mean, not that
blizzards.
they're great either, but
Yeah.
at least I don't have to worry about earthquakes. Although
And we'll
it
get,
wasn't that
like-
long ago we felt an earthquake.
Yeah, but I mean, those aren't like
It wasn't
your house
normal.
isn't gonna fall down.
No, we're not living on the San Andreas fault
Your
line.
water cup might, start rippling.
Well, I was in bed and I just felt the bed like just
Mm.
gently rock. It was almost like a person rocking me to sleep.
I remember I was telling my ex's kids and her that the end of the world is coming. It was 2012, like when everybody thought the world was about to end.
The world just ended like a few months ago.
Well, I think that was the beginning of the end because as I said it, the freaking earthquake happened in Somersworth, New Hampshire. It was the craziest thing because you don't get earthquakes. It sounded like a truck coming up the road forever, and I'm like, I think that's an earthquake, and it ended up being an earthquake.
Yeah.
freaked out the kids.
It was wild because we don't get them here.
Yeah, and I'm like, the end of the world's coming.
Yeah, like even if a hurricane's coming up the East Coast, we just feel like we just feel a little bit of the rain and the wind,
Right.
but like it never gets here because it's too cold.
Yeah.
But now with everything warming up, maybe that'll change. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I enjoy living here. This is a very outdoorsy state.
Yeah.
Like there are trails. There are 5 different trails within a 5 to 10 mile radius of where we are right now.
And I've been on all of them.
Yeah, you can just pull your car into the little dirt parking lot and walk until
Yeah.
your heart's content. This place is insanely gorgeous. We've gone kayaking together.
Yeah.
We like that's a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
do miss
I-
like kayaking
yeah,
with
me
2
too.
joints and like paddling
Yeah.
out to the middle and then like smoking them and then like paddle around.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
that's a lot of fun.
sometimes I don't even go out there to fish. I'll bring a fishing pole, but I'll just go out in the middle. I'll kick my feet up and
Yeah.
I'll fall asleep out in the middle of the lake, you know.
Well, it's so peaceful, especially if you go like where we go, there's an island.
Yeah.
And if you
With blueberries.
with blueberries. So
Yeah.
you can go up there and get some blueberries if it's that time of season, or you can just paddle around it and hear nothing.
Right.
The road is blocked out. Like it's very peaceful. It's
Well, then
very
you get all the
quaint.
bass that are, you know, making beds on the backside of that island. So then you hear like, you know,
splashes.
yeah, little splashes.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's so peaceful and beautiful. Just every corner is different. You know, that's why I like this world. Everything is different. Wherever
That's cool,
you go.
right? It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It's a yeah.
You know, I've been watching one guy. He rides trains everywhere. I think it's Downey.
I still haven't looked up this guy. You had mentioned him briefly the other day.
Yeah, and I actually like his stuff. You know, he did like a luxury train ride through China or Vietnam, and it was amazing. Like every day they'd stop at a different port and they'd have like something set up there, and it's like luxury like wine tasting. They're having a party at this stop, and it was, you know, luxury everything. It was so beautiful.
I have never spent much time over in like Europe, Australia, Africa. I've spent the majority of my time either in the United States or Asia. And what you're describing is such an Asian experience.
Yeah, it was cool.
There are people that backpack across Asia for that experience.
Yeah, there was one town that's known. It's called, I don't even know, but literally this is the only train that you can open the windows is on the luxury one, but you can't put your face out because the buildings are this far away.
Oh yeah, you don't want that.
You know, but all the people in the town are taking pictures of the train going through, and all the people on the train are taking pictures of the people in the town taking pictures of them. You know, so like they're taking pictures of each other, and it's a big thing. Like that's what the town's, and there's like little cafes like right out in the train, right by you. Like you can just touch it.
Does that make you want to travel when you see those?
It does, yeah. I mean,
I've
never been a person that wanted to travel.
Have you left the country?
No.
Have you ever left the U.S.? You never went to Canada?
I went to Canada.
We're 3 hours south of the Canadian border
so
right
I've
now.
been to Canada a few times.
Okay.
You know,
So you have experience at least going to somewhere with a very different culture, or well,
I barely met the
some
culture.
people would explain.
I barely met the culture. I was 18.
Oh, you went up to party.
I went up to get alcohol, fireworks,
Yeah.
and come back, and they stopped us and searched us, but they saw we were about to piss our pants and let us go through with the fireworks and alcohol.
Is that the key? You go there with a full bladder,
Apparently.
and you're like, guys, I wish I could bullshit around about this immigration, but I got to get out of here.
Well, if you got a spirit team like mine, you can get out of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying these days, but back in the day,
you bring all your angels, and you're like, you're gonna deal with them.
Yeah.
If you don't let me.
Yeah, you can try to not let me, but,
Yeah, but
watch what's going to
I brought my army.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I like that.
it's pretty sweet. I mean, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of had a feeling when I was in Somersworth living there before I moved to Lee, which living in Lee is a whole thing because that means I'm a Levite, which in the Bible is the tribe that is the priests of God's temple, and I just happen to be a Levite.
It's always weird when people add the little "ite" or like
Right.
So like,
Well, I always thought it was Levite, but
I live in Barrington.
yeah.
And
What are you?
Barringtonian.
Oh, Barringtonian.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's an interesting concept.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, you're about to hit me with something. Make sure you get close to the mic for that, right?
I'm pretty sure there's something about that. The
You'll
bear.
Get to me later with it.
Yeah, in Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I always like a good story. I'm not saying like I'm gonna take it to heart or anything, but if it's a good story, I'm willing to listen. I like listening to stories. I hate TV and movies though.
Yeah.
That's an odd concept.
I don't like things I can't fast forward and watch.
Oh, you're an instant gratification type of guy.
Well, I like to listen to it twice as quick because I have a lot to listen to. You know, so back to Pegasus.
Yeah, hit me
the
with it.
winged
Okay.
white horse.
Yep, horseshoes, the whole gamut.
He had a twin brother that had a golden sword.
And you happen to have one.
And I happen to have one. You know, that's just one thing that I wanted to finish. You know, it happens nonstop, but like the chances of all of it happening nonstop, like what are the chances of that?
Do you get annoyed or excited when you get when you get the urge, when you get like an input?
Sometimes both. You know, at first, like I was so excited, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to go make a video.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not very good at making videos, so a lot of people don't watch it. And I'm being very raw. Like, this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but it's really happening. And here's my story, and people just don't watch it. And I get it. So I just like,
well,
I kind of got, you know.
It's not necessarily your story that they're not watching. It's sometimes just the algorithm
right
doesn't connect you.
Right. But, and that's just it. Like, you know, I'm not a computer guy. I'm an outdoors guy.
Yeah.
You know, I live in New Hampshire. Computers aren't my thing.
I've described you as an outdoor cat in the past.
Yes.
And I'm an indoor cat.
Yes. You're the computer guy. You don't like getting dirty. Get me dirty, roll me around some dirt, and then rinse me off.
You can do that to me, but I immediately want to shower.
Right.
So, like, I'm not afraid to get dirty. You've seen me get dirty plenty of times.
Yeah.
But I immediately want to wash it off and then, like, cleanse myself.
Actually, I don't think I've ever seen you dirty. Ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about insulation? I went and I helped you wrap some pipes with some insulation once.
I don't think that counts.
That doesn't count.
No, that is not dirty.
Oh.
I wish I could pull up the video.
You know, it's funny. I'll share one dirty part of my life. So when I first joined the Air Force, I said, well, put me in whatever you want. Like, and so they did. They put me in fuels. They call it POL, party on location, also known as petroleum, oil, and lubricants. And I would get soaked in jet fuel and dirty from dragging a hose to the aircraft, filling it up with gas. I was so bad. My wife at the time, she made me come home, so I had to wear shorts underneath my uniform, and I was not allowed to change inside the house. We live in North Carolina, so I would come home, go to the back porch, remove the uniform top and pants, and then I was allowed to go into the house and shower because my uniform smelled so bad. It was, you know, a lot. And I would say that was probably the dirtiest part of my life.
That is pretty dirty. That sounds like diesel fuel.
Yeah, it was diesel fuel. It was Jet A1.
Yeah.
The whole thing, JP8, JP4, all that.
You know, I do HVAC. I have my own company. And that's the one thing I refuse to do is oil because of how it smells. And you can't get the smell out of your clothes or your skin. And
it messes with your shoes. If you have leather, it dries them out and it's done.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just that alone, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much to HVAC that's one thing I can sacrifice not knowing and not wanting to know.
Yeah, that was the worst. So I got out of it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
All right, that's my.
Yeah. So when we were doing stuff, I was doing stuff, And this is just one of those tattoo things that I wanted to share with everyone. So I've got a few tattoos on like my hips of dragons, and I got some flames. And then I was like, in between, I put a dock, and I was like, I'm going to make, a sea of flames, AKA the Lake of Fire from Revelations.
Yeah.
And I put a little boat and an island on my stomach. And so I even put some red flames under the boat, right?
That's a little detail, yeah.
Right. And then the next day, this video comes out.
Nose. A strikingly accurate reference to the oxygen transport function performed by hemoglobin. Even more impressive are descriptions of tiny boats that sail the Red River carrying the vital force. A possible illusion.
There it is. That's the tie.
Yeah. And literally, I have proof, like Instagram messages between me and my tattoo artist where I sent him these time-stamped, and then the video came out the next day. Like, I have all those timestamps. Like, it's possible. Like, you can say it's impossible, but I have proof that these videos come out after.
No, it's fascinating. I have never had these experiences.
So that video is also talking about the first vampire goddess of Egypt. She is Sekhmet, the half lion, half goddess deity from Ra. And literally, my ex-wife just got a tattoo of a half lion, half woman on her arm last summer. And sorry, Amy, but she's a vampire. Vampires are actually what they call narcissists or energy vampires. So
there's a lot of those out there.
Right. And those are actual, vampires. Like, the energy force is what people consider your blood, right? So they're sucking your blood, they're sucking your energy, they're the same thing.
So
if you give to it, where right now I don't give to it at all. Like, I don't entertain.
No, you should never.
Yeah.
You should never feed the fire, right?
Right. But I didn't know that for a long time.
Okay.
And I wasn't there mentally to accept that that's who she actually was. It was, I knew it from the beginning of my spiritual awakening. They told me who she was, and I didn't want to believe it.
This makes me wonder what I am.
Well, have you ever heard of Adonijah? No. He's King Solomon's brother. And I have a brother named Adam, and everything that King Solomon has done, I've also done. He was the architect and builder of the temple of God. He also had a mine where he found gold, and he was also pulled out green stone out of the mine, which I also pulled out of my mine. He got help from demons that located the mine for him. I kept having a dream about where to dig under my place because I had found gold under my place. And it was too small to actually mine, but it was a lot of it. And I just, like they say in the Bible, what's more important, the gold under the temple or the temple itself? Right?
Yeah, you could probably dig down and find minerals all day long, right?
Everywhere.
The Earth's crust is
pretty...
Yeah.
It's not...
I'm sure
it's actually surprising in New Hampshire.
There's a geologist right now swearing, listening to this, be like, "No, there's gems only in certain locations." Blah 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 blah. I get it.
Yeah. sorry, guys. It's not in the script. Well, yeah, no, I'm actually a big gem/rock guy. I have my own little treasure chest at home. I think every person should have their own little treasure chest. Where back in the day, I used to buy like loose gems and stuff, and I just threw them in there, and
I bought those.
My kids love it now.
I bought some unfinished gems.
Yeah, you gave me some.
I gave you them on eBay.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I gave them to fairies. I know this is a long shot, but fairies are real too. And come to find out, they like rough cut gems as gifts. So I sprinkled them some around the yard because I didn't know what the frick to do with them. I'm not a gem cutter or anything. And I figured that's what they were for. You know, everything that happens for a reason. I found out that I was like, oh, so let's step back a little bit, because now I just mentioned fairies, which, you know, like I said, everything you think it's not real, it probably is, but it's the Holy Spirit being poured out on everybody through time, and they're all seeing a vision and explaining it in their own way. If it's a leprechaun with a gold brim on his hat, you know, or a fairy, but fairies are very real. And let me know, I'll show you how I know. I knew nothing about fairies.
When we're saying fairies, like, what type of fairies are we? Okay, so we're talking about like the Peter Pan, Tinkerbell like, fairies.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I was hanging out with this girl, Tammy, a couple years ago. She was really helping me out. And one day she's like, hey, do your kids like to paint? And I'm like, yeah, they're 3 and 4. Of course they like to paint. She's like, I'm going to make you a fairy door. And I'm like, okay. And then that next day, she gave it to me. It dried. She made it. And I was listening to a tarot reading, and literally she's like, something about little tiny doors and fairies, and the fairies love you and they're protecting you. And all of a sudden I like, what? I texted Tammy and I'm like, what is a fairy door? And she's like, it's to let wood fairies or tree fairies into the trees. And I'm like, how do you know this? And she's like, oh, one of my old roommates used to say that she could see fairies. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So all of a sudden, like, all this fairy stuff, like, literally, I got a tattoo of a fairy.
Yeah, I mean, it's legit. It's right there.
Yeah. And I mean, even all these tattoos right here are something. It's crazy. It's a lot of something. But I got the fairy because, so like I was saying, one day I was reading the Bible in my house and I was like all torn up, and I opened it up and the Bible's like, look at you. You haven't even trimmed your bushes. They're all super long. You haven't done any work out in the yard. And I'm looking out there and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't done any work out in the yard for like over a year now since, you know, yeah, like I've been so freaking distraught. Like, and now I'm going through like the heart of my spiritual awakening. Are you going to trust this is God, or are you going to ignore what he's asking you to do? So I get out there the next day and I cut my whole yard. I'm trimming all freaking day, dragging them out back. And I have a very large fire pit about the size of a half an oil tank.
Be careful. A&M going to come over and do a bonfire at your place.
Right. Well, I got rid of it. It's gone. I don't have a fireplace anymore.
Okay.
But I stacked all of that stuff, all the shrubs, you know, that I cut down on that fire pit. I mean, it was like 6 feet tall, stacked before the fire got started, you know. And
man, there's probably a lot of firemen right now.
Oh, I know.
Thinking like, Jesus,
don't worry.
This guy doing?
There's no bad endings.
Okay, good.
So I freaking, being in HVAC, I bring my acetylene torch out, which is a very powerful torch. And
yeah, I mean, it cuts bolts and everything else, right?
This one doesn't, but it'll braze, you know, it'll join 2 pieces of copper together, you know, like it gets pretty hot.
Okay. Fair enough.
I bust that thing out, I put it in the fire, and I go inside because, you know, it's wet. It might take a little while. And I start doing stuff inside. I come out like 10 minutes later. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go check on that. And I come down like around the corner. Like, that thing should be going. Like, that thing should be on fire. So I go down there and I turn the torch just a little bit, and it's like, and the whole thing catches on fire. And it's
because the gas was already all over.
Because it was all dry. It had like a big nest of dry stuff from all the heat from the torch for 10 minutes.
My God.
And I just tapped all those dry leaves, and they were like,
that's scary.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, the fire department's coming. The fire department's coming. The fire department's coming. There was literally a 20-foot flame coming out of the top of that. It was the biggest fire I've ever had. And I I swear to God, it was God like talking to me through that fire.
That's like your own burning bush.
Well, come to find out, because I was doing research on fairies,
Yeah,
and like what they like, what kind of plants they like, and one of the bushes that I was burning is literally called burning bush. I swear to God, I literally looked it up, Google Lens, every bush in my yard, and looked up magical properties.
this makes me feel so oblivious to the world around me because I literally don't look for any of this
I wasn't
stuff.
looking for that. I was not looking to find out like I was burning the burning bush.
Yeah,
Like I was checking up like what magical properties does this bush have? Oh, this is called a burning bush. You mean the burning bush that I was burning 6 months ago? Like, and I was doing that because I was looking at for fairy stuff, because like an oak tree is one of the biggest known spots for fairies.
we have a lot of them here.
Yeah, every acorn is a sprite.
Yeah,
Has a sprite in it. You know, so I have a freaking oak tree over my addition, the temple, which in the Bible there's also an oak tree over at the temple. I don't know if the temple in Jerusalem has an oak tree over it, but my temple that looks exactly like and described is exactly like and has everything in it. You know,
that's wild. Like to make these connections.
and I'm not even trying. They just fall on my freaking plate. Like I'm not trying to do this. The pages of my Bible falls apart. Like, no, this is what you need to see.
I guess I feel the same way about all this information as I do when like a paranormal team comes over. I'm not trying to downside it. That's not what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is I cannot see these things with my brain or my eyes. My brain tells me, hey, don't be silly. Don't waste your time on this. You got other things to do. We got chores to do. We got choring to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
And
I
we
never
do.
take the moment to smell the flowers. I suppose you could say, right? Dude, it's okay because when we're doing something like this, where you're just having a long conversation, like it's hard to follow, right? I mean, because
to keep the connections, you know, to keep every point, like everything that I say does have a lot bigger implication than what I'm actually saying, but I just got to get the information out there first.
Yeah.
All these spots, so then we can start making the connections. When we start making the connections, it gets crazier.
What I like about this is it's just a nice conversation between us two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's okay if there's a connection that is missing once in a while, you know, because
it can be brought up later.
It's a lot, and we're gonna get to do this.
Yeah, this is, like I said, it took me to explain to Mom 3 days straight of me telling her all these connections. And I mean, there's a lot of them. This is nonstop for 3 years of my life. Like,
yeah.
And sometimes like multiple things happen at the same time.
Well, I think when you're not in it yourself, it's a lot to like break down and sort out, I guess, inside.
It is.
But I don't think about it a lot. Like we talk, it's not because it's not connected with me. It's just because, you know, we just live two different lives,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like living vicariously through somebody else. And like, so I find it very interesting to kind of dissect and listen to your view of the world, you know?
I mean, it's hard because a lot of people aren't ready to hear what I'm saying.
Well, it's an extreme thing.
Right. You know, and a lot of people don't, you know, are 100%. There's no possible way. And I agree. Like, it is very hard. If somebody told me that Jesus is back, I'd be like, dude, okay, that's cool. Whatever. Like, you do you. You know, like, I'm going to do me. But this stuff is like, I can't stop it from happening. I'm not the guy that wants to be known, you know, because he saw Bigfoot and nobody believes him. Like, I would rather keep that shit to myself.
I see.
You know?
Well, you're safer usually when you do that.
Right. But when it's for God, God doesn't give you, if he wants you to say something, he's going to make you say it, if you know it's him or not.
That's interesting. Like the thought of being forced to express myself in that kind of way.
Well, I mean, like the day we got into a fight a few years back, and I wanted you to watch. I wanted you to watch a TikTok, a tarot reading that was about me, and I was like 15 seconds, and you made it 2 seconds, and you were like, no, I can't do it. Like that was meant to happen. That whole thing, me walking out, being upset because you wouldn't listen to one thing, but now I get it. It was meant to happen. I was meant to be isolated because it wasn't just you. Like I was isolated from everybody. Mom, Courtney and Uncle Todd, Amy, like you. I was by myself with tarot and God, tarot and the Bible, and everything the tarot was saying, the Bible was backing it up. And
yeah, well, I mean, you came in pretty hot that night too, right?
I did, because I thought I was going crazy, and I needed someone to say, dude, you're not crazy. All right, I see this.
Yeah, in this regard.
And you were not giving it to me.
I'm not that guy.
I know. I should have known before I came over, but it was meant to happen. That was meant to happen just the way it did. I had to freaking...
Yeah, no, I knew that. And I didn't want to push the issue, and I knew that you had a lot to deal with. But yeah, I don't share these similar thoughts. And so when somebody comes at me like you wanted me to believe in God. Like at that night, that was your number one objective. And I understood that. I wasn't mad. But I don't like being you know what it is? I don't need somebody to tell me to believe in God, right? And this is not directed towards you. This is anybody, right? Like
right.
I don't like somebody trying to convert me to their thing. Like I understand that you need a team and you want to hang out, right? Just anybody. But like I don't want to be on that team.
Yeah.
Like it's not for me. I don't want that. But like I'm not necessarily going to be mad at somebody for like trying, like, because I understand where they're coming from, but at some point, I guess when I make myself clear, like I'm an atheist, like we're not gonna go down this road,
right?
Like,
and I mean that's something I did have to learn, and I learned, like I wasn't really trying to get people to believe in God. I was trying to get people to hear what was going on in my life and seeing like, like this is what's going on in my life. This is what I want you to see what's going on in my life. I'm not trying to convert anybody, but I just, I was looking for people to understand or let me know, like, I wasn't freaking crazy.
No,
because I thought I was for a long time. And, it's a lot. Like, I know it's a lot. And it's, like I said, I have a pretty good IQ. And it's hard to believe. It was hard for me to believe all this stuff. Like, every day I'm getting confirmations. Like, confirmations, like.
But I understood where you were coming from that night, and I also understood that you needed some time and some space to figure out. You're going through a lot, man.
Yeah.
And we had just lost our dear sister.
Yeah.
And you were going through what you were going through.
Yeah.
And I also knew that I didn't have that experience. Yeah. Like I've been through my own stuff, but not like what you were going through.
No, and like I said, no matter what we wanted to happen, that was always going to happen. I needed to be alone. God was separating me from everybody so I could be with him. I mean, I closed my business between my mental state, and my spiritual awakening. I didn't know what the heck was going on, and all I knew was every time I research something, I find a connection that's it's crazy. It's the craziest connection that you can imagine because
I'm grateful that you were able to kind of pull your world together.
Yeah.
Even in a hermit state. And I'm glad that we're able to do this, man.
Yeah.
Like I know today.
Look, we'll get into this next time.
I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed
so
this.
much.
We have put a lot of like just thought and effort into trying to like do something like this. I want to share my world with people, and I want to talk to people that have a world that they want to share too.
Yeah, I got one.
And I am
One
so
I didn't even ask for.
grateful. Where can people find you if they want to talk to you? If maybe they have some questions.
So I'm on TikTok.
I'll put the link below.
That's the main place I hang out. I actually have 2 pages, but the one that I normally am on is Church of Light.
Okay.
My other profile has a lot of other older videos. All the miraculous signs are on my other page, which is Golden Pisces 12.
Well, I'll get a link for that below this video. Thank you so much for being the first guest. Like, yeah, no, literally, we will do this more. I hope that people will enjoy hearing a lot of this stuff.
I had a blast, and I have so much more to say, and we're gonna say it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna give you a choice. I'm gonna make my butt impressed into the seat.
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready.
Deal.
All right.
All right, bro.
Thank you, man.
Love
I appreciate you. Love you too.